Guess what's in the boxes? Well, I guess you already know because you clicked on the video and you know what the title is, but it's a Cabber 6 from Kingsley North. That's their 6-inch cabbing machine. So my current machine I've got from a friend of mine who was upgrading his, so I've got his old machine. The wheels are worn out and there's some other problems with it, so it's time to get a new one. So I contacted Kingsley North and I asked if they'd sponsor my channel by giving me a machine to review, and they said yes. So thanks, Kingsley North, appreciate it. So what I promised to do is give an honest review of the machine, and then of course I'll use it in my upcoming videos. So while I unpack this thing and get it all set up, I'm going to tell you why I chose this one over the many other options that I had. Before I contacted Kingsley North, I looked at a lot of different machines. I chose Kingsley North for a few reasons. One is that they're a Michigan company. They're located in the little town of Norway up in the Upper Peninsula. And the machine is made out of parts that are mostly made in the United States. For example, the main body and the shaft are made in Wisconsin. The whole thing's assembled in Norway. I guess there's a couple parts that are imported, but the vast majority of it's made in America. I also like that it's made out of stainless steel. When I got my other machine, it was pretty rusty. I spent some time cleaning it up and repainting it. It looks pretty good right now, but I'm always just a little bit worried the rust is going to come back. I actually put little baking pans underneath the wheels because I noticed that's where most of the rust was. So I think just little bits of rock get flung down there and chip the paint away, and then when the paint's gone, rust starts. So I'm just always worried about it, and I don't want to worry about that anymore. So the main body, the shaft, and I think all the parts that are in contact with water are stainless steel. So that's just something I don't have to worry about in the future. Another thing I like about this is that the motor is easily replaceable. Some cabbers have a central motor where the motor's right in the middle and then the shafts come right out of the motor. So if the motor ever goes bad, you pretty much got to replace most of the machine. You got to get that same motor from that same manufacturer. So if anything ever goes bad with this Kingsley North machine and I need a new motor, I can just go get any 1/3 horsepower motor I want and it'll be fine. I also like that it's cooled from above. It's got little valves with clean water that drops down on the wheels instead of squirting dirty water up from underneath. There's varying opinions on that, but I just always thought if you're squirting up dirty water, there's always a chance that you're going to squirt up some contaminants and mess up your wheels. So I like that it's got clean water. I had to choose between 6-inch wheels and 8-inch wheels, and I picked the 6-inch wheels because I've liked using 6-inch wheels in the past for a couple reasons. One is that if you want to do a concave part in a cab, it's a little bit easier to do with smaller wheels. So for example, I make little heart-shaped pendants, and the shape of my heart has a little concave part in it. So to get in that little concave part, I like a little smaller diameter wheel. Another reason is that when you go to replace the wheels, the smaller wheels are a lot cheaper than the big wheels. You know, the downside is that they wear out a little bit quicker also, so I guess you could go either way on that. But I decided on the 6-inch wheels. Kingsley North does make an 8-inch machine also, so if you prefer that, they got you covered there too. I have everything out of the boxes now. Here's the machine itself. There's a belt guard here, the submersible pump to run the water to the wheels. These are a couple of drain hoses. I think there's just a couple different sizes depending on what your setup is. This is the hose that goes from the pump to the machine. There's a lamp here. The connector for the lamp is one of these kind of things, kind of like on an air compressor. I have some of these on my garden hoses too, so you just pull it back and let it go and it holds on. A couple of pipe clamps for the hose. These are little brackets to hold the front down, so they go on here. I've made a board to mount this to because I didn't want to screw into my countertop, and apparently I read something wrong because I made the board way too big, so I got to cut that down a little bit. But those go there to hold the machine down. Not sure what the big wrench is for, but I got a big wrench. And there's a catalog. There's a book on, it's called Diamond Abrasives. It looks like a how to cab book, which maybe I should read this and learn the proper ways to do things. And then there's the instruction manual, and I'm not sure what this is, but some little instructions. Oh, this has upgraded wheels. These are Galaxy wheels down here, the hard wheels, and Nova wheels down here by Diamond Pacific. So these are little instructions for how to use those. They need some breaking in. So next thing is to put all this stuff together, and I'll cut my little board down first before I do that. All right, the first thing to do is to attach the machine to my board with this little bracket. So I'm not 100% sure why this is necessary, because the machine's pretty heavy. I think it weighs 60 pounds. I don't know where it's going if it's not attached, but it says to attach it, so I figured I better do that. You'll notice that the bracket does not reach down all the way to the board. I don't think this is a problem at all. I don't know if this is kind of a little design error or if it's intentional. But there's a little foot underneath here, and there's a smaller foot in the back of the machine here. So this is higher so that it'll drain, all the water will drain back to the back. So there's a little gap in between here, but that way it's pulling down tight when you do that, so it's not going anywhere now. This is the belt guard. Alright, I know why there's two different size hoses now. It's because, first off, there's two drains, one on each side. If you're able to drain straight off the back of your table, you can cut one of the hoses short and just run them straight off the middle here. Since I have a wall there, I'm going to be running off the left side here, so I need a longer hose to get from this across the back of the machine and over the edge. So all you have to do is just slip these on and tighten up the hose clamps, and you're good to go. Alright, so I got these on, but I had a little trouble getting the hose clamps on because it's too close to the board underneath. It's fine if you can pick the back of the machine up, but I already had it mounted to the board. So don't put those little brackets on that attach the machine to your bench top until after you put the drain hoses on, and then it's fine. Time to put the lamp on. So it goes right here. You just slide it on there, pull that back, let it go forward, and there it is. I think the only thing left to do is hook up the pump. So to do that, you just put this little hose in the hole there, and that holds it. If you want to get it out, you just push that little ring down and it comes right out. So just like that. And then just attach the other end to this little Y fitting here. It's got a little barb on it, so you just push it on and there it is. Well, let's take a little tour of the machine. On the left-hand side, this panel comes off. This is optional. You don't have to run this with the panel on. You can leave it off all the time, but it does cut down a little mist from the machine from what I've been told. This is a 360 grit disc, and this can be used to flatten the backs of your cabs. So in the past, I've done that on my flat lap machine. It's nice to have it right here on the same machine, so you don't have to switch machines. So if you've got a saw mark or something in the back of your cab and you just want to kind of straighten that up a little bit, you can use that. Along the front of the machine we have 6 wheels. They gave me the upgraded wheels. These are all Diamond Pacific wheels. These are called Galaxy and the other ones are called Nova wheels. They're generally considered to be the best wheels made. These are hard wheels. We've got 80 grit here and 220 grit there. And then these are soft. They've got a foam backer behind them. So when you're making a cab or a cabochon, you'll get little flat spots in these first wheels. And then because it can push into this, it kind of forms around the cab and takes out those flat spots. So this is 280, 600, 1200, and 3000 grit. The little felt pads here to keep the spray down. Here's your valves. I really like this along the front here. It's got a little wrist rest. My old machine just had metal come straight up, and it was just a thin piece of metal along there. There was a little piece of plastic molded over the top of it, but it was still really narrow. So this, if you want to rest your hand on there, it's not going to be digging into your hand. It's got a switch on it. I was told this is a very high quality switch. It's triple sealed against moisture, and my old machine didn't have a switch at all. You just plugged it in and it went on. I had it hooked up to a power strip, so I use that as my switch. It's really nice to have a switch right up front here. Obviously it's not plugged in yet. On the right hand side we have another one of these end panels, which again is optional. This is a polishing pad pre-charged with cerium oxide. It's got water to it, just like on the left side. There's just a little valve right here. This seems to need to be adjusted. It's a little bit low. I think it should be towards the center so it kind of spins out, but I'll have to play around with it. Maybe it's fine down there. But these pads just spin off the ends. It's just threaded in the end here, and so you can replace that with whatever kind of polishing pad you want on there. And then figured out what the big wrench is for. It's for this. So this comes off to replace your wheels. And I want to show you the quality of this. This is a 1-inch stainless steel shaft on here. Let's pull that off. So you can see that's a heavy-duty shaft. And the old one I had was threaded on the outside. This is threaded on the inside, which gives you like that much more room on the shaft. This machine's the exact same width as my old machine. And by giving you a little extra room there, you've got a little extra room in between the wheels here, which is really nice. So they put some extra effort into making this, maybe not the cheapest way of making it, but the best way of making it. So really impressed with the quality of this machine. This has cast iron pulleys on it and a 1/3 horsepower Dayton motor. Listen how different these two machines sound. I like this one better. It's about time I get this thing dirty. So before I can use this, I have to break in the wheels here. So it says to use a large agate cabochon to work on each one of the wheels for a few minutes. I'm just going to use this Montana agate. It's got a big smooth surface here. So I'm going to run on each one of the wheels. It says between 2 and 5 minutes, and then this last one can take a while longer. So I guess we'll just play around with it, and then I'll try to make a cab. Got my first cab done, and this turned out really nice. This is Ohio Flint. You can see the shine on that thing. This has a groove around the outside that I did with another machine. The only way I know how to make a pendant, it's called a groove wrap, so there's a piece of wire that goes in that groove later on. But look at the shine of that. It's just, whoops, almost dropped it. That'd be bad. Looks great. So a couple observations about the machine. First off, having new wheels is really a treat. I've never had these two wheels be new on a machine. I got them used with the machine I bought before, and it's just, these work so quickly compared to the old one. And then these wheels all work really nicely too. I really like having these valves up here, which is one of the reasons I chose this machine. Before I had this little geyser that squirted up from the bottom, and I was just worried about it squirting up contaminants and getting, maybe a piece of diamond falls off this wheel and then gets on this wheel or something. That bothered me. But the other thing that bothered me is that you moved it from wheel to wheel, you just slid it over. But with the vibration of the old machine, the little thing would go over on its own, and you have to keep pulling it back, and it move over, and you have to keep pulling it back. So with this, I turn it on, and it's on, and I'm good. I really like the switch on here. It's nice to just be able to flip it on and off right here without reaching around the back of the machine. These pieces of felt along here, I said they were to keep the spray off of me, and they really did a nice job with that. I wore an apron, but I don't think I need to wear an apron with this machine. This does a nice job. The other thing they do is spread the water out equally along the face of the wheel there, and they seem to do a good job of doing that. Here's another piece of Ohio Flint. I got it roughed out in the saw, so let's make a cab. I'm going to go cut a groove in the side of this and mark a girdle line on it, and we'll finish it up. I have my dop stick on there. I've got a groove cut down here and a girdle line up here, so now I'm going to dome the top of this. I just dried this off, and looks pretty good. It's really good. That Ohio Flint really shines up. It's time to give you my final thoughts on this machine, and up to this point there's nothing that I've really found that I don't like about it. The belt guard was missing the bolt to attach it here. I looked in the box, couldn't find it, so I just ran to the hardware store and bought one. It was no big deal. I don't have the ideal situation here for these hoses. It would be best if they ran off the back of the counter there, or directly off the side if this cabinet wasn't here. Taking them around to the front is a little bit awkward. The tray fills up here with a little more water than I'd like, but it doesn't get up to the bottom of the wheels or anything. It's really fine. It just seems like it should be draining better. When I'm all done, I pick up the front of the machine, I stick a 2x4 underneath it, and everything drains out real quick. So it's not really a problem. I just have to kind of work some stuff out there. Things I do like about it are, well, pretty much the things I've told you already, but it's stainless steel. This lamp is great. I used to have 2 lamps and still kind of struggle to see stuff. I can see great with this lamp. The valves are nice instead of a little squirter thing underneath. The wheels are great. Love the switch on the front here. There's a pump down in the bucket on the floor that pumps water to this. That pump is almost silent. I can't really hear it, and it delivers water really well. So in the future, I plan to do more videos with this. One of the things I want to do is polish up some Petoskey stones. So for those of you that are polishing Petoskey stones by hand, boy, this is going to speed things up for you. So we'll look at that one of these days. If you'd like to look at buying one of these, I'll have a link in the description. And thanks again to Kingsley North for sponsoring this video. And I'll see you guys next time.